Rudraya Swami, Aryan, Subramaniam Aula, Ramesh Kita, Jahir Hussain. So what is smart city according to you, Kashyap? Girishankar Garu, Ajay Jadhav, Veer Raghavan. Good morning to you all. Yesterday I didn't get time to update this presentation. Till 9 o'clock my lectures were going on. Sangamesh, Kanta, Pardhan, Kadirvel, Divya, Akula. Yeah, Aryan. So good morning to you all for this time. Bhujangarao Garu, good morning. Sharath Reddy. Hemant Reddy Garu, good morning. GV Srinath, good morning. Subramaniam, Metla Srinivasarao Garu, good morning to you all. Ganesh Jairas, Anand Dave. Kashyap, why do we call our mobile phone smartphone? What is the difference between smartphone and normal phone? Rupaswamy Subramanian, Anand Dave. Kashyap, are you there? Kupaswamy and Nilkant Thakur. Nagraj, Prakash Bhure.
Hello.
Yeah, Rao Kosir Garu. Why do we call our phone smartphone? And what is the difference between smartphone and normal phone?
Sir, we call our phone smart because there are a lot of things that our phone has made easy for us. For example,
Do you know the acronym expansion of SMART? What is SMART?
no, sir.
Can you check in the net and tell me?
1 second.
Prasad Patil, Varshit Valala. Another 2 minutes, we'll start.
Sir, SMART stands for self-monitoring analysis and reporting technology.
Yeah. Self-monitoring,
Analysis.
analysis, and reporting technology. Smart. That is what is smart, actually. That is why we write in capitals, smart. You know.
Yes, sir.
So now you tell me, what is that smartphone now? Bharat, Samaya, Danselan Garu, good morning to you all. Chittard, Grayson.
Sir, a device that can uh, um, monitor and analyze according to changes in its surroundings.
You know, my iPhone gives me a report on how much time I spent on Facebook, how much time I spent on screen,
Yes, sir.
all that it gives report, you know. It has that, that is the difference between Android and iOS and other normal operating systems, you know. So it has the device which will monitor its usage also, even battery usage, it will give you and all that. So
Yes.
good morning to you all, and Gaurinath Garu, good morning, welcome. Siddharth Grayson, Bharat Somaya, Gaurinath Garu, welcome you all. We'll start the topic smart buildings, smart communities, and smart cities. Today's topic, again, another interesting topic and futuristic topic. So smart city, what is a smart city? So it is local but networked. It is distributed but integrated. So this is the smart city actually. So what does it mean? Networked is connected and uh, distributed, but integration of networks and integration of facilities. That is about smart city. Just now we have seen what is definition expansion of smart acronym. You know, self monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology. This is what is smart actually. Self monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology. So if any city has that facility of self monitoring, analysis, and reporting technology, then that city can be called a smart city. And do you know what is the best smart city in the world? Anybody in Zoom here or in Facebook? What is the best smart city in the world? It is the Barcelona, actually. If you see our Facebook page, Smart in Fresh, we have reported this once, actually. So Barcelona is the best smart city in the world. So you should study why it is best and why not our own city where we are living. So contents of my topic today is the introduction to smart city and what is a smart city and the present scenario in India, in the smart buildings and the smart communities. According to me, you can call a city smart only when the city consists of really smart buildings and smart communities. Imagine a building owner not having a smartphone. Can that building become a smart building? Or a person can become smart nowadays without a smartphone. So similarly, a building without smart people and a community without smart building and a city without smart communities cannot become smart city actually. So as I defined, the definition of smart is self-monitoring and analysis reporting technique or technology. That is the smart. So let us get into this introduction of this smart cities. So basically, the need for smart cities is important because urban infrastructure is growing, urban population is growing, and it is going to be predicted to be 60%, but now these numbers may change, please. With the post-COVID situation, the urban population might start dipping actually. That is possibility actually. Because with the people understanding are learning to live with smart technologies and internet of things and all that. I have a report, interesting report, which I'll share today. And the need for sustainability in infrastructure with the growing population is very important. And sustainable infrastructure, eco-efficient and socio-economic factors also is very important for these smart cities. And important components of sustainable infrastructure are land use and optimization. This is our subject, civil engineers to involve in. And water and waste management, also again civil engineers job. And power infrastructure, that is power generation, power transmission, power distribution, also comes under, we civil engineers handle this. And next is traffic and transportation, also is comes under sustainable infrastructure. If I tell you four cities, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, Hyderabad, of course Chennai, Calcutta also. These are the six cities which are comparable. Can you imagine about the traffic, and can you feel which city is more comfortable? So these are the numbers I'm going to share today. Why a particular city is preferred by people, and why a particular city becomes more livable, better livable. So sustainable living is technology for efficient operation is smart cities actually. Using technology, make sustainable living and make the city smart. And smart city integration of technology into strategic approach to sustainability. So integration of the technology. Here we are seeing this picture in a smart city. We are connecting all aspects of the city, like power, water, waste management, street lights, and transport, traffic, communities. Everything getting integrated becomes integrated through technology. And it is using technology, it becomes a strategic approach to sustainability. And citizen well-being, finally, what for is all this smart? Finally, we want the people to be well-being or welfare, people's welfare to be taken care. In fact, if our cities were smart enough, we would have managed this COVID situation much better, actually, whether it is usage of hospitals or whether it is information about COVID, all that should have been. But I tell you, any technology without people's participation it cannot be smart actually. People have to be smart, as I said in the beginning. So smart people, smart buildings, smart communities, and then smart city. That is the only way, and only when people all become smart, economic development is possible. And smart grids, whether it is water, whether it is power, we have smart grids, which I'll be sharing a little bit about it. And smart transport, multimodal transport is one of the smart transport things, like smart building and smart governance. These are all the four aspects that contribute to smart city actually. And economic scenario in India, transformation into smart and sustainable cities, it is very important. In fact, it is smart. We are not talking about smart cities in the last 5 years only. The topic of smart cities is going on for last 10 years, but in the last 5 years, it has gained importance because of the more, what do you say, information. So now let us see what is the smart city, how ideal smart city looks like, and what are all the components of these smart cities. So we will start with the ITS, Intelligent Transportation System, and the next generation vehicle center, operation center, battery storage, and wind farms, power, renewable power, environmental friendly design of the buildings. So ECBC norms implementation and citizen friendly permissions. We are seeing now online approval of the building permissions also is part of the smart city, and regional EMS controls, and smart buildings linked through regional EMS. And this is like a command control, what we have. And mega solar farms and smart houses. In every house has to be smart. Now we are seeing the technologies for a smart house, like you manage your air conditioner, uh, uh, geysers, your house cleaning, everything through your phone. That is a smart house. And and also you can manage your power in the house, whether it is solar power or electricity board power, or you can supply. Net metering is one of the features of the smart house. And biomass fuels, and electronic cars sharing, and smart house, and electric buses, which is again happening in the cities. Small medium scale buildings also, like apartment communities with 50 families and all. And multi energy stations, this is smart grid again. And offshore wind, solar panels, and smart houses, and EV car sharing, multi energy stations, and intelligence. So this is the a typical smart city with management of these things. So next, let us look at sorry. So let us look at what is Internet of Things and big data analytics, which will help smart cities. In fact, a very important thing of smart cities is managing the data. So what is that data you get? So this is a typical graph representation of information about. So if time in a day, there were 34,522 complaints called into uh, uh, September 8th and September 15th. And that 311 is the number, like we have many numbers here. In every city, we have 108 or 122, like that. Different numbers are there, 104. So here are the most common plotted by the time of a day. So taxi complaints, sewer maintenance, sanitation conditions, street lights. So a smart city will have this, and 100, for example, we have emergency numbers, uh, control room, and consumer complaints, graffiti complaints on the walls, traffic signal conditions, dirty conditions, blocked driveways, noise, general construction, and plumbing. So what I'm trying to say is, how many of these are connected with civil engineers? This is the real thing. So we have a lot to contribute to these smart cities. If not in internet or data management, we are the hardware for a smart city. Civil engineers will manage the hardware of these smart cities. So we should be prepared. There is a lot of scope for civil engineers in a development activity of these smart cities, which we are doing already, and also the maintenance aspects of it. So we should take up this research in these areas to be part of these smart cities, which is going to be the future. So let us look at the layers of smart city: environment and natural resources, urban development and infrastructure, which is our subject, society and community, which we develop buildings and all that, governance and growth, of course, it is to do with the government, and the living city, the city. So these are the 5 layers of a smart city. If you look at the city that looks above has got these layers underlying, actually. So when we think of any city, we have to consider these aspects. So now, what are all the factors that we have to deal with? Air pollution, forest fire detection, wine quality enhancing, offspring care, sportsman care, structural health, and smartphone detection, and perimeter. All this we already have, actually. We have to implement these things, like radiation levels, electromagnetic levels, traffic congestion, smart roads, smart lighting, intelligent shopping, noise urban maps, water leakages, vehicle auto diagnosis, item and waste management, smart parking, golf courses, and water quality and quality of shipment conditions. So these are all the elements of smart cities. In fact, I was guiding students on the using Google and Uber data. Uber has got a data, Uber and or Ola actually have got a data to get the condition of the roads. They are helping GHMC to report on the condition of the roads, because they have installed this road condition, because their service depends on the condition of the roads. Traffic management, we have guided students on managing traffic of the city using this data of the Uber and Ola. And it is now things are getting mixed up like that. So you will get lot of data is available. That is about smart city. The usage of internet and usage of taxi, usage of public transport. All this data we can use to analyze the conditions of the traffic. So framework layers. So what is the city objective? Social, environmental, and economic. City objectives like lakes, rivers, roads, and all that. Environmental factors, economic factors, and the city indicators, appropriate and matching. And city components. What are the main city components? Utilities, power, water, waste are the utilities actually. And we have the transportation, city transport, like rail, bus, and a multimodal transportation. Real estate, like master plan of the city and usage of the land zones. And then city services. What are the city services? Like power, again, water, all the property tax, and all that. These are the city services. And city content, best practices and policy examples. So these are the framework layers actually. So any smart city will have, so we are connected with city components mainly. So hierarchy of the city components are power, water, waste, and then transportation. We have rail, road, air, and logistics. And we have the real estate, residential, commercial, retail, and public buildings. And city services, we have healthcare, education, fire, police, defense, and municipal services. So these are all the various components of the city which fall the hierarchy of the smart cities actually. So policy, regulators, developers, and owners and operators finally. So these are all the people which we have to consider in a smart city. And India's urban population growth, if you see, this is where in between we are here. And total population, India is projected to be 1460, which we will be reaching, and 1656, and out of which 837 is going to be urban population. So 3,000 new dwellings and our eco district developed in 2000 with high residential density of 7.5 cubic meters per square meter. That is the volume of the buildings. And microclimatic residential buildings, permeable streets and parking, permeable streets like water permeability, water flows recovery from the roofs, and innovative waste pre-selection and recovery, green flows and corridors, green network, and district cogeneration, power generation, and a strict management of local energy production and distribution makes a benchmark for any future energy independent cities. So this is what I always say, colony level, every colony level environment and energy neutralization we have to do. Clean. Network issues, is anybody facing problems? Somebody is saying network issues. Is it on smart cities or let us look at that model. So we have planning, crisis, decision making, and cloud you will have, and buildings, energy grids, mobility, and public lighting, water waste, and communication, safety, health, food, heritage, education, and environment. So these are the urban sensor networks we will be having. So citizen finally uses these smart services through city utilities And this is a typical concept drawing of the smart cities. So what are all the smart components? Smart energy we have, and smart education, smart infrastructure. This is what we are talking about. Sensor networks, digital management of water and waste management. How many of you have Wi-Fi enabled and water meters in your community? So this is a possible thing. Or smart grid in the power consumption. We have different sources of power, as I always say, and we should have the smart grid to utilize the least cost energy anytime. And 4G connectivity, now we will be moving to 5G and Internet of Things, free Wi-Fi, which is almost happening now. Fiber to home, again, which is happening, like Geo Fiber or State Fibers happening. And then we have this big data analytics. So these are the technology aspects platform that will have. So you have the physical infrastructure, we have the technology, internet, which is going to be future. We are already experiencing, probably this is the what nature is giving us training if we are for using the technology. Smart buildings, what are smart buildings? Like which have the green, like energy conservation and resource conservation, renewable energy and integration, and intelligent building management systems. You know, connected real estate, that is called connected real estate, is a technology where your power usage, waste disposal, water consumption will be on your mobile phone. And so everything is connected through your mobile phone, whether your cleanliness, maintenance of your house, everything. And then we have smart citizens, smart lifestyle choices and use of green mobility options, and smart parking, advanced traffic. So there is a huge scope for research on studying the growth of this online procurement, online purchase of things, and change in traffic patterns, use of individual vehicles or shared vehicles or public transport, all going to change now. So post COVID, this is the opportunity for civil engineers to study lot of data on the trends, how it is going to change actually. And smart mobility, smart parking, advanced traffic management, and intelligent boards. That's what we are seeing, you know. A lot of projects we are working for smart cities is we are designing these board support structures actually. And e-learning, which was a concept earlier, now it is going to be real. Personalized learning and virtual classrooms we are in now. Virtual classrooms is the order of the day, and it is going to be the normal thing. And smart meters, smart grids in energy, intelligent energy storage, smart healthcare, and e-health and m-health, mobile health. That is also happening now. Government is advising us to use phone to consult the doctors. And intelligent medical devices, like we are seeing in the phones also, you can check your blood pressure, you can check your blood sugar and the pulse rate and all that just by putting your finger on the phone. That is the intelligent medical devices that's going to come more and more. Personalized healthcare, smart governance. So this is about parameters of smart city. There are 9 parameters actually. So present scenario in India. Let us look at the population growth city-wise, because we should know this to understand where to focus in which city. So I have analyzed the water consumption in different cities. See, Chennai has the least water consumption because there is no water or water scarcity. Next, Bangalore. And next comes Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Delhi. Hyderabad has the highest water consumption because this is per capita actually. We are talking about per capita. Of course, Delhi is the highest, but next comes Hyderabad. Why? Because the availability of water. Above average are only Delhi, Mumbai, and Hyderabad, water consumption. Next, power, water supply versus demand. So Hyderabad has got higher demand and the supply also almost meeting the thing. There is less shortage compared to other cities actually. Bangalore also demand is lesser because of the lesser per capita supply. If the supply increases, demand also increases. Waste generated. So you can see Chennai has the highest waste generated. And this is per capita again. And then Calcutta comes next, and then Delhi, and then Hyderabad. Fourth is Hyderabad. Mumbai and Bangalore have the lesser per capita waste generated. So they fall below the average, Mumbai and Bangalore. So this is the waste generation and management. Composting, if you see, almost every city has got composting thing, and biomethanation, and RDF, and LFG recovery, and then earth cover is Chennai, Mumbai, and Calcutta. Compaction, we have Mumbai, Delhi, and Hyderabad. So we are studying the various parameters for assessing the smart city things. And power consumption, if you see, Hyderabad again has lesser, because population is lesser. So this is the power demand versus supply versus deficit. Now Hyderabad has improved recently. In fact, I could not update these charts as of now. And internet users. So Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, percentage of population actually. Hyderabad has 40% population using internet, and 42% of Indian population use internet actually now. Almost 540 million users of internet in India. You know, the surprising thing is rural India has more internet users than urban India. Of course, because the percentage population in urban is still less than 40% in India. But if you compare the internet number of internet users, out of this 540, like 300 and 280 and 340, that kind of ratio is there, usage of internet. So 10% more internet users in rural India, actually. This is the surprising fact. And then number of vehicles in India is growing. And another surprising fact about the vehicles is, for example, Hyderabad, I can tell you, if there are 2 lakh cars in Hyderabad, or out of that, 50% are Uber and Ola. But now it will reduce actually. But this is the data prior to. No, this is a constant growth actually. Internet users data is constantly growing. It was 34% about 8 years back, and now it is 54%. So 42% now actually. So this is growing year on year, about 2% per year is getting added actually. That is the internet users. But definitely, yeah, post-COVID, there will be more usage of internet and more dependence on the internet. So everybody will be adding. And next important factor is congestion index of the traffic, and transportation. So this, I have developed this factor actually. This is the work of students actually. I made students work on it and worked out the traffic congestion index for each city. Like Hyderabad has got least congestion index actually, but now it is changing a little bit. But this is a data again, little bit older. I could not update. Yeah, that's right. It will increase. Localized solution to improve living conditions like groundwater recharge. Yeah, that's right. And congestion index is 1 minus average journey speed divided by desirable journey speed of 30 kilometers per hour. So this is the congestion index. So vehicle density, city-wise, if you look at Chennai has got, Mumbai has got least. This because this has bearing on availability of public transport. Mumbai has best of the public transports in our country actually, and Calcutta comes next. And but still, Calcutta has got both public transport and vehicle density, very high vehicle density actually. Next is the traffic and transportation. So if you see the congestion index, Hyderabad has got very efficient congestion index. So the ratio of congestion index and vehicle density is a parameter which we studied actually. Lower congestion index and higher vehicle density implies better traffic management. This is why I said that means Calcutta has got better traffic management, and Hyderabad comes next, and Chennai and Mumbai come least actually in the vehicle management. Next, pollution level of transport. And Delhi has got the highest pollution. We are all aware of this. And in fact, it is seen every winter, you will see a lot of smog in Delhi. And Calcutta has next actually, and comes Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, and Bangalore. So these are all the parameters we have to study. Why I'm showing this is all the scope for civil engineers. We can study all these parameters and keep reporting as engineers. Students have the huge scope for studying this, and we senior engineers can use the student to do this kind of studies actually. It will give so percentage of population in public transport. If you see, Chennai has lesser use of public transport. Mumbai has the highest use of public transport. As I said, it is almost like 75% public transport, and Delhi comes next, and Hyderabad comes next. Of course, I have not used the Bangalore also will be somewhere in between. Whatever data is available. So present scenario, if you see which city can score smart city index, we worked out actually water, traffic, and pollution management and waste management. And we have Mumbai, which ranks best with the four parameters. It is highlighted, and Delhi, Bangalore, and Calcutta. Bangalore and Calcutta are in the lower level actually. So this is what study I did with the students again. So smart solutions, we have e-governance, energy management, urban mobility, waste management, and waste water management and others. So these are all the scope for people to involve in. Startups. Yesterday I was in task webinar where 1500 students participated in the webinar, and there we are talking about opportunities for startups. So we can work on urban mobility, smart parking, intelligent traffic management, and integrated multimodal transport. And in energy management, we can work on smart meters and management renewable sources of energy. Yeah, energy efficient and green buildings. That's what exactly. And then waste management, waste to energy and fuel, waste to compost, waste to water to be treated, and recycling and reduction in construction and demolition waste. So Hyderabad at least is working on all this, and Ramki Enviro is the one who is working on all these things, and one can work with Ramki also. And water management, we have smart meters and management, leakage identification of the water, preventive maintenance, and water quality monitoring. These are all the issues where we can install these Wi-Fi enabled meters. Like power, we have at the transformer level metering and community level metering, and you can check the pilferage. Same water also, we can check the pilferage. So we can work with the Metro Waterworks. If Prashant is here, any of the smart, I think Raviteja is there here. Raviteja, we should take up this work with Metro Waterworks, waste management, sewage and water. So I can help students do this work. We did with GHMC for affordable housing, and we did with GHMC for roads, the internships for the students and studies. We can continue to do that. And the smart cities selection process, we have seen Bhubaneswar was rated the #1 smart city. That is in terms of participation of people, smart cities are rated actually. If there is a survey, how many people participate in the survey? So this is a very important factor which we have to educate people in cities to make the city smart actually. So importance of transportation, we all know in any thing, and high energy consumption like fuel, and the city needs smart and efficient transport systems. We have done the study of Hyderabad transportation and also the water consumption Hyderabad in detail. And we have seen the lake, source wise. Now Godavari also is added. Total rainwater falling is 14,531 million gallons per day. And then we have 20% of the above is 2,900. The city could comfortably meet the present water demand, because this I have told in the recent lecture also. Like if we use the water in the stormwater lecture, yeah, of the rainwater properly, it is good enough actually. So this is the water usage, 340 million gallons per day actually. So waste generation, solid waste generation is like this. We stand at 4,500 tons per day actually. And domestic industries, markets, hotels and restaurants, and recycled waste is 7% only of the total. So reduce, reuse, recycle policy needs to be enforced, and construction of sanitary landfills and collection of biogas for energy utilization and composting by using microorganisms and well-managed waste collection and segregation. So these are all the things. So power demand and harsh weather conditions, power consumption increases with these things. And now we can use the revenue sources like wind, solar, hydroelectric, and then smart grid controlling the power usage and metering and monitoring energy, and SCADA systems and net metering concepts, and dual tariff. So this I was advising recently someone on dual tariff, like the government should charge power consumption during the day. Electricity board unit rate should be double the night rate. So this is a dual tariff. So then people during the daytime will tend to use more solar, so that the power consumption is optimized. Traffic and transportation, so congestion index, vehicle density, public transportation of the above statistics suggest that there is growth in transportation sector, and the issues are traffic from the other districts like intermix with the local traffic. Present MMTS does not cover all the parts of the city. Higher vehicular density and parking problems, inefficient signals and signs and marking. So we have done this study, and the intelligent transportation system is a part of the HMDA project, and toll management systems, which we have fast tags now, and traffic management systems, highway, and it should be included in the intelligent trans. So we have divided the Hyderabad city traffic into MMTS, metro, and rapid metro. These are the three layers that can be connected, interconnected, to solve these traffic problems. So this is the case study. We have taken the Hyderabad map. This is we have these MMTS lines. We have the metro lines, 3 metro lines, and then we have proposed the rapid metro like Gurgaon. So this is the rapid metro like high-tech city. We have a high-tech city area in Hyderabad, which is highly dense now, and it is growing further. So we are proposing connecting the high-tech city metro station and MMTS station to Whitefields, Kottaguda, and all these areas. So this is a proposal which we have done. Again, this is done by student. This is the Gurgaon metro actually, if you see. So we have done this project. That's how I got inspired and made students study the feasibility of rapid metro in Hyderabad also, and we come up with the solution. And this is how now it's being implemented. If you see Hyderabad, they are shifting the intercity stations to Lingampalli and what is that? Outskirts like Gatkesar. All these stations will be only receiving the intercity trains like this, and then you use the multimodal MMTS, and then use the metro and then use the rapid metro. That is how you can cover the city. This is the study done by students, again, under me, as part of this thing. So smart city versus dumb city and smart buildings now. Yeah, this is what we have to focus on as engineers. So in smart building, what are all the elements that we can work? You can have smart structures by monitoring actuator control damping. That means tune dampers and all that for wind or earthquake. Like you can make the structure intelligent. And then foundation monitoring. Now we are installing the these vibration sensors in the buildings. Like Pradeep Ramancharla has done a project installing 10,000 buildings with these sensors to predict the earthquake risk very early, yeah, by monitoring, collecting this data to his server. So all the buildings data, so that is how you can monitor the structures of all the building. And foundation monitoring, you can install the sensors in the foundation and you get the signals through Wi-Fi, and then you can monitor the stress levels in the foundation and forewarn the any damage or accident to the building itself. Water, collect the rainwater, flooding, uh, forecast the flooding, and then or prevent the flooding, and harvest the water and conservation. This is all smart building definition actually. So hello, can you hear to me?
Sir, వినబడుతుంది
Okay,
వినబడుతుంది.
okay. I thought here suddenly there is a power off actually. That's why I thought I have fortunately second Wi-Fi with inverter actually. So it has changed automatically. That means. So thank you. So the energy, electricity board power, DG power, inverter power. Just now we are talking about, and solar power. So this is the four sources of power you can have, and the out of, and now wheeling power actually. So you can outsource the power supply. So waterproofing leakage also. Yeah, correct. That is there in the underground metros and all. We are installing sensors for what you call water leakage also, and you can activate remotely waterproofing systems when there is a failure of existing waterproofing system. And waste management, solid waste and sewage, parking management, and circulation of horizontal and vertical circulation of the people, and safety and security, fire and access control, and lighting and ventilation. Also, you can have smart buildings. Now we have this glass which can change the UV factor. That is by changing you. See, we cannot have permanent tinted glass, or we cannot have permanent transparent, complete transparent glass. So there is something in between. Intelligent buildings can have a glass that changes its UV factor. Now that glass is available. And similarly, air conditioning, managing the ventilation in the building. So all these factors form the part of smart building or intelligent buildings actually. So let us look at the smart building definition. A building that provides a productive and effective cost-effective environment through optimization of its basic components like structure, system, service, and management, and the interrelationship of them. That is the smart building definition actually. So we have a green, that is energy and resource optimization, safe aspect of the buildings, and the productive building. So we have 40% of global energy in buildings, and 25% of global water in buildings, sorry, and 40% of global resources used in building, and 1/3 of emissions, greenhouse gas emissions from the buildings actually. So so we have to manage this. 60% of world's electricity, residential consume and commercial buildings consume actually. So we have to manage this. Then 2,000 buildings in 8 cities. For the first time in India, survey was conducted to assess more than 2,000 buildings in Ahmedabad, Bangalore, using Honeywell Smart Building Score actually. So this is the data results of this. Green are 45% and safe are 21%. Overall average is 33%. So this is the data which can be used. All this will help engineers to plan and work. We can retrofit buildings to be green actually. We can retrofit the energy management of the buildings by working for it. So disaster response, water safety and personal protection, indoor environment comfort and quality and control, and gas and water leakage detection systems, and conservation and efficient use of natural resources, wireless communication, and flexible cooling and heating systems, power consumption monitoring and control, and uninterrupted power supply, and wired communication and data infrastructure, energy efficient electrical appliances and plumbing fixtures, and surveillance and data infrastructure. So these are all the parameters which are studied actually. So survey across 10 verticals, that is airports, hotels, hospitals, private offices, retail, surface transport, government offices, and education and social infrastructure, public spaces and residential. So green, public buildings 43% are green and private buildings 46% are green. And the safety in public buildings is 18% and private buildings 22%. Productivity also 27% in public building and 32% private building. So the overall 34% in private building and 29% in government buildings. So need for action, government and policy makers is the main thing that we are trying to project. Industry associations, consultants, architects, and service providers. We have to incorporate these smarter things in buildings, in communities, and in city level. So asset capability, asset coverage, and asset uptime, smart building scores, we have 45%, 49%, and 65%. So this is the data. Just for interest sake, I'm sharing. This is the data which I collected from the internet only, again by students. I use the students for all this so that they become more aware of all these things. Vertical insights in private offices. So this is the further data which I'll not go into. Now vertical insights into surface transport. So flexible, sorry, with government offices, and this is the data on government offices, education and social spaces. All the breakdown is given, how much percentage is green, safe and productive. And the residential, let us look at the residential. 38% are residential green actually, and 14% are safe and 24% are productive. And so tertiary sector building network approach and residential sector smart homes. So I have a separate presentation on sustainable buildings wherein I'll cover about all the sustainability factors. So we have conventional buildings, we have passive buildings, and we have active buildings like using the solar and all. So smart building plus interactive buildings. So new and existing, we can make the retrofit all the buildings to be smart and intelligent. So building network management, we have the management optimization, remote monitoring, and the grid distribution and network supervisors. So these are the part where we have green and renewable energy and intelligent building management, which we have been implementing this IBMS, Intelligent Building Management System. Increase energy efficiency in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, lighting and shading, air quality and window control. This I explained. And systems switching off devices automatically, unused devices, metering and access control. Yeah. So adaptive structures, sensory structures, controlled structures. This is smart structures, active structures, and intelligent structures. These are the various things. So if you see, intelligent structure has adaptivity, sensor installed, and controlled structures like damping and all that, and active structures. Active structures are those like human body is the most smart structure. We all know it has got all these features. So structure that can sense stimuli and respond to them in appropriate fashions. So we have vibration reduction, we have self-sensing and of strain and stress. Now these there are companies which install these sensors for monitoring the stress and strain in every element of the, like you have a pain in your body if you walk too much in the leg. So like that in the structure also you can monitor the stress level and strain levels, and self-sensing of damage, and electromagnetic interference shielding, and then lightning protection, self-heating, and or de-icing in cold countries, and self-healing. Self-healing concrete, we already are aware of it. So self-healing structures, how about thinking about self-healing structures? And so this is the structural health monitoring. This I have covered yesterday in the forensics structural engineering lecture yesterday I gave. In that, we talk about this installation of these sensors, which we are doing in the building adjacent. Whenever we start construction, in the surrounding buildings, we install the sensors to forewarn them if there is any danger because of our construction. Noise level monitoring also we do in the building, so that if anybody complains about the noise, we have the data with us. So this is the damage sensing can be done, drift computation, shear wave computation, and base shear computation. So these are all the locations of the sensors, and this is the data server, and then connected to your mobile. So these are all the sensors installed on the building, and the data acquisition and analysis and damage detection, and you have the alarms connected to this damage detection. So these are all the projects we have done, and we were trying to install these things in some of the projects, but ultimately clients have to. So this is a construction. I don't know why these slides have come in between the work pictures, and we can install these sensors in all these elements. And this is the construction scenario also is changing to make buildings smarter, actually using the complete precast. And so this I always I'm talking about this precast last 20 years in India, and now I'm happy. Now people will be forced to shift to this technology, and we should all be ready to provide services and develop vendors for implementing these precast things and pre-engineered structures. So this anyway we covered. And next is the smart communities. What is the smart community? Sorry, this is a spelling mistake. So communities, green building and smart building. So eco-friendly, there is a difference between green building and smart building. In green building, we use eco-friendly materials, ecological site planning, water efficiency, and transportation efficiency. And in smart building, we have integrated design, individual comfort control, indoor environmental quality, productive workplace, flexibility, energy efficiency, automatic climatic response, and advanced control. And advanced security and communication systems we install in smart building, and advanced structural systems we install in this smart building. So combination of these two, green and smart, is this integrated design, individual smart comfort control, and the indoor environment. So smart green buildings is what is going to make smart communities. So when do we call a community smart? We have people smart, we have environment smart, then the community is made smart. It is sustainable, participative, this is very important, and life quality, and social capital, and social network. So these are the smart communities concept, uh, which use the power for the consumption with the SCADA and all that, and transport management, traffic management, and the new sensor for medium and low voltage active microgrids. So this is what we have the SCADA, and we have power stations controlled through SCADA, and finally, so we have the low voltage grids also, like smart users and storage of power and usage of the power depending on the cost of the power. So this is the smart grids. And smart districts, we have district cooling and district heating and smart lighting and smart buildings we have, and then renewable energy sources. This is the smart district. And the smart cities we talked about, and then smart energy, industries, environmental friendly, business and economy friendly, and smart building homes, and environment quality, smart mobility. Smart mobility is very important. I don't know if you travel abroad, many cities you have a single card for entire travel in the city, weekly card and day card, all that. So you can have this smart mobility with e-vehicles. You can even hire the taxi car rentals, which is now getting popular in India also. And you can use the railway, you can use the roads and all that. And the social community and the smart gridding and technology, internet and e-education, broadcasting and telephony, which is happening now, and it is going to be that thing. So this is about smart cities, smart communities, and smart building. It is a huge topic actually. I'm sorry I could not update this yesterday, because yesterday till 9 o'clock I was in online meetings only, webinars only. So, but I have another lecture of the same topic next week on 24th, I think. So I will try to update by then. You can also participate. That brochure I have shared in our Smart Interest page, and I have shared in all the groups, I think, WhatsApp groups and Telegram group. So you can attend. How can places like Bangalore, which has undergone erratic development and is already congested and generates a lot of waste pollution, be transformed into smart city? Yeah, that's a good point, Kaushik. And in fact, you have a lot of scope. The civil engineers can take up the study and give advice to the suo like you collect a group of students, make this study as a project, and give suggestions. I've done that in Hyderabad. For roads I have done, for traffic I have done, for flooding I have done, and for affordable housing we have done. So thereby, if every civil engineer across the country works on these parameters to improve and give suggestions, our brand value will increase definitely. So you can discuss with me for further advice on that. Kaushik, I can advise. Any questions from our group here?
Sir, can I ask, sir?
Yeah, anybody can ask.
Sir, I think you know very well Kakinada is a smart city, first 20 cities in the India.
Yeah.
But why we are unable to do that underground drainage? What is the problem?
You submit a memorandum. We have two people from Kakinada here, I think. Sundarrao Garu, very senior consultant.
Sir, I think Sundarrao sir bhi malum hai, sir. He also knows something, I think.
So you can initiate one representation to all the people connected with Kakinada, whether
Yes.
it is a commissioner or chief engineer of Kakinada Corporation or whatever development you have. You can submit a memorandum. You can initiate that, Sridhar.
Sir. At the same time, Hyderabad, why still we are facing the flood situation, sir? Do
Yeah,
you
that
don't have
also
any smart systems?
that also I have a report on Hyderabad flood management. I have presented on stormwater class actually.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Kakinada Underground drainage is not feasible because the sea level is higher than the Calcutta town. That's what the report which I had realized. But the only thing is pumping has to be done. If it is supposed to be about the sewage, there's to be
Yeah, there will be a
detailed.
solution, Chitti Babu. If you work on it, there will be a solution. See, we can develop apps actually for people to report. Somebody is telling government is regularizing unhealthy developments in land and building construction. That is right, actually. This is a complex scenario, but if people are conscious about it, if we bring awareness among public, government cannot do anything wrong actually, because they ultimately depend on public for getting elected back actually. Yeah, how to solve drainage problems during rains in city. Yeah, we have to study this. I have made students, I have made a report for Hyderabad city done by students and submitted to GHMC. So we have to make people aware of all these things. So if there are no other questions, I'll conclude my talk. Thank you very much to all of you, and we'll meet tomorrow. Thank you. So Bhaskar, I am closing the live.